So welcome back. We're going to continue graphing another example of linear inequalities. Remember, inequalities have these types of symbols involved. Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, less than, and greater than. Hopefully I did that right on the other video, and I don't know if I paid attention or not. So now I have this example here. Y is less than -2. So this is going to be a linear inequality, which means they want us to graph this actually on our coordinate plane. So we need to identify the slope and the y-intercept if possible. Well, since it is solved for y, it should have a slope and a y-intercept. So note that we have y equals 0x minus 2. That equation here would kind of look like this if I put the equality in here. This would represent the line itself. So notice what I'm getting at though is, since there's not an x in the problem, the coefficient of x had to be a 0. So my slope is going to be 0, and my y-intercept is going to be a -2. So I've identified those two pieces. Now we want to graph a line and make sure we decide whether it's dotted or solid. Since this is a less than symbol, a less than symbol means we don't include the points on the line. Since we're not including the points on the line to demonstrate that or model that, we use a dotted line. So make a little note to self, I should have a dotted line. So the first thing we're doing is we're going to graph the y-intercept of a -2. Now my slope is like 0 over 1 if you want to make it an actual slope. So what this is telling me is there's not any rise, all there is run. So when I see a slope of 0, what this is essentially telling me is I have a horizontal line, because there's no rise, there's only run. So that's what this is kind of telling me. Don't rise, but just run left or right. So I can make a point anywhere. I'm just going to put a point there. So I now can graph my line. It's going to be a horizontal line, and it's going to be dotted. I guess dashed or dotted. Probably more appropriately, I think I probably should use the word more of a dash. So I've got my inequality graph. The next thing I want to do is pick a point that's not on the line. Again, I always like to choose something that's easy. So again, I see that 0, 0 is available. So 0, 0. So what I pick up on is my x value is 0, my y value is 0. So what I can pick up on in this inequality is I can put 0 in for x. There's no place to put 0 in for x because really it's irrelevant because it's going to just follow the problem anyway. So you really don't have to put 0 in for x because it's just going to fall out. So I just put the 0 in for the y, and I got this -2 here. Is 0 less than a -2? Again, that seems to be a false statement. So what this is telling me then is I can't shade the side line where this point is. That's not part of the solution. So I have to go to the other side line to be less than -2. And that kind of makes sense. Y has to be less than -2. To be less than -2 kind of implies your y values have to go below that. So my logic also is telling me that I should be graphing or shading below the line. So I just kind of make some things like that. This is where crayons and stuff come in nicely, or highlighters. They do a good job of kind of marking that. I'm going to try to save my markers, so I'm just going to do that much of it. So that's what we're wanting to do when we want to graph these things. It's actually going to be a shaded region. So any ordered pair in this region should satisfy this linear inequality. Okay? Hopefully that helps. Stay tuned for some more examples.